failing at doing that right now. And that's where the money comes in, is on TV. You know, if you're getting good ratings, you're getting good money.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And
absolutely.
They want to, like, make excuses and be like, well, it's just not getting advertised right, or, you know, it's the steroid thing is really kind of, but that's not it, man. That's not it. It's not appealing to people that have other things to do. People don't have 4 hours to watch a baseball game. They just don't. So that's me. And like I said, I love baseball, and I'm getting a lot of people, oh, you just hate baseball. I'm like, no, dude, I don't. I really, really love baseball. I just want to see it succeed. I don't want to see it turn into hockey. For God's sake. No one deserves it.
What would you suggest? What are some of the ideas that you would propose if you were commissioner?
And this would be the first one.
To speed up the game.
I would suggest putting into effect maybe a 20-second pitch clock similar to the shot clock in basketball or the play clock in football. As soon as the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher and it's in his glove, he's got 20 seconds to make his pitch.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I mean, think about it. When you're playing MLB The Show, how long does it take you to really decide where you're going to pitch and where you're going to place it? I mean,
the batter usually dictates that. The batter's not going to sit there for 20 seconds and let the pitcher and the catcher make up his mind.
Yeah, but
I would agree with you saying it does get kind of boring when he's just standing out there getting signs back and forth, checking the runners, doing pickoffs, stepping off, looking back in the dugout.
Exactly, and it's not going to change anything. I mean, it's not going to be less pitches or fewer innings, just something like that, just to get the ball out of the pitcher's hand a little quicker. Or also, Smith Dog says, or the time it takes for the catcher to throw it back to the pitcher. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you have to regulate this stuff somehow. Also, and Mark points out something that I was getting ready to say. The batter, you have to keep the batter in the box instead of going in and out of the box. I would say maybe one time in at bat he can step out of the box, maybe. Something needs to be regulated there. Also, they have to do something about the mound visits. There's just so many little things in baseball that make it drag on much longer than it should. And here's the other thing I think.
Yeah, I think part of that's the coaching strategy.
Yeah.
When, the moment you feel the momentum starting to shift, you go out there, you talk, just kind of slow the game up purposely, just kind of kill the momentum of the other team.
Yeah, and also to get your bullpen guys a few more pitches in before they come in. I know all about it. It's strategy, but that strategy is killing the viewers. So there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else done. I also think that instead of intentional walks, actually throwing 4 balls to a standing up catcher. I mean, essentially we watch, and it doesn't happen that often during a game, but when it does happen, we spend a good 2 minutes watching a pitcher and a catcher basically play catch.
Yeah.
Why not just throw a hand signal? Why not just a little hand signal, we're walking this guy, put him on base? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, of course not. It wouldn't hurt anything. It would just get us to the action, man. We want to see action. And what was the last one? Oh, we have to somehow regulate the number of times a pitcher makes a pickoff attempt, because it gets silly, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, usually the written understood rule is no more than, or after the second time, you won't see a pitcher throw over the third time. But I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
Especially when the guy doesn't really have that big of a lead. It's just somebody you're trying to keep close to the bag, and sometimes they're not even trying to pick them off. They're just throwing over just to kind of keep them honest and let them know they're thinking about them.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to bang on your sport, dude. I'm really not. I think that.
Well, how do you feel about the instant replay, or not the instant replay, but maybe like having some kind of like a challenge system where they can challenge home runs? Because one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody hits one and it hits, like, there's so many fields now that have different corners and nooks and crannies, and there's fans hanging over, and you see a ball that could be a home run. It hits off the yellow line, or it'll knock back into play, hit off a wall, over the fence. And then every single time, both managers come out, they talk to the umpire for 5 minutes, they go back and forth, back and forth. I think if they had a system where they could just go back, look at a monitor, and then make a ruling. It would save so much time.
You're 100% right, man, and I'm totally for any sort of use of video to get things right. I'm even for, I know that they say, well, the human element, you know, they like for some reason people like umpires making mistakes. I've never understood that. I've never understood it. I think that we need to get to a point where you take that, I mean, you maybe still have the umpire behind the plate, but don't even let him dictate the ball and strike. They have a computerized strike zone now, and you can see the pitches right afterwards, yes or no, was that a strike? I mean, it's available immediately. Like, all games could be called 100% correct with no mistakes ever.
Yeah.
Right down to home runs.
I think that's something that would have to, slowly be induced. But I think with the NFL, other than, sometimes it takes a little longer than it should, so many times a game you see calls reversed. And I think that just makes the game so much better, just because it's fair to both teams.
Absolutely, it does. It really does make the game so much better. Oh, pardon me, and so much more legit because nobody's getting cheated.
Yeah,
I'm all for
have a gripe.
In every sport, I'm all for video replay. Baseball too. I'd love to see it, and I'm so surprised that they're even. See, man, baseball, they're just so stubborn. I'm surprised that they're even looking at something like that. Aren't you? I mean, I'm surprised that they're even considering.
Yeah, just to like the home run replays.
Yeah. B-Rai says, well, I have upset
about it. But I think it's time they should. They were talking about doing it after the All-Star break last year. I'm not really sure what happened to that, but hopefully this year they will look into it a little more.
Yeah. B-Rai in the chat room. Sean, let me read this to you.
Okay.
He's getting upset at me, I think, because he's a baseball guy too. He says,
okay.
B-Rai's
a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy.
B-Rai.
As it pertains to the pickoff rule, because I think maybe you should only get one pickoff attempt per at bat, maybe. He says you would do it too, Eric. You would want to catch them, and your competitive nature, you wouldn't want someone stealing on you. And then he says, then he goes about the pitching. He says, why not just put a pitching machine on the hill? That would save time, right? I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to make it like a 45-minute game or anything. But to me, it just kind of drags on. It just kind of drags on, and there's just a few minor things that would maybe shave off 30 to 45 minutes, and to have it to where there's just more action and more reasons to tune in. And if there's more focus on the athletic aspect of the game of baseball, because it is an athletic game. All right, the exciting plays take athleticism. But I mean, but it's not like as athletic as other things. But I think that you would get more young athletes, really, really athletic. Because baseball loses top athletes to all the other sports. Like there's guys in the NFL and guys playing in the NBA that might have been great baseball players had they devoted their whole life to that. Don't you think?
I think it goes both ways. I mean, there's a lot of baseball players that have had successful football and basketball careers as well.
Yeah.
But I think more times than not, I think most athletes would prefer to play baseball just because of the physical nature of the sport. Usually careers are a lot longer and there's a lot less stress on the body, you would think, for most players, with the exception of pitchers and catchers.
You make a good point, man, but athletes these days are way more into highlight reels, and you can do so much more on a highlight reel in a sport like football or basketball. You really can. I actually wrote a whole thing about this, because you remember not long ago people were, and I'm sure it's still a topic in some sort, but the number of black people playing baseball is dwindling. It's down to the lowest it's been since they first started letting black people play. And I wrote a whole thing about that said